Well, hello there, motherfuckers. I really wasn't in the mood to do a Raw review. I didn't want to watch it, especially, I had a good Christmas. I didn't want to bother and bring my mood down to a total standstill. But, I figured my subs, my channel, I got to get this Raw review out. There's people, honestly, that want to hear me talk about it, especially something like a Christmas episode. um, New tag team champions. I didn't expect that. This is the first time in a long time that Raw has been live. Why it needed to be live is beyond me. Why they couldn't tape it, that's another thing that's really beyond me. They made the wrestlers work on Christmas. Can you believe this shit? I mean, I didn't do a separate rant. I was planning to, but as you guys saw, I had a whole bunch of other videos queued up. I pretty much forgot to do that one, but I think I talked about it in different videos, in different Raw reviews, and different rants. McMahan wanted them to work on Christmas. Now, I realize that there's places that are open on Christmas. You've got Starbucks, McDonald's, and to name certain places. We've heard GameStop being open on Thanksgiving. But Christmas is a little bit more important in my eyes. I mean, that is, in my opinion, everything should really be closed. There's really, except for like hospitals, obviously, major places that are required. But any type of store or form of entertainment should really close its doors out of respect for the holiday. But McMahon, he thinks he's God. He thinks he's stronger than God. He booked God at Backlash, so he doesn't care. The guy is pretty immoral, so he thinks that he could just force people to work. Making them leave their family. Now, some of them might have brought their family on the road. I don't know, but the fact that they have to do that is completely wrong and fucked up beyond belief. So here we have a Raw, and pretty much all we accomplished on this Raw was new tag champs. And aside from that, not much else. Now, I could really stop right there, and that would be the end of the review, and I would have pretty much summed up the show perfectly because it's the only real major thing that happened. But people would be upset. Most Raw reviews I feel should be done segment by segment just to make sure that we don't miss anything. So we started off with John Cena returning, which was totally random. But I guess I should have maybe said that from the start. But this felt like a really half-hearted return, to say the least. And first of all, can I say something about the continuity of the two programs being Raw and SmackDown Live? Didn't they just have Cena on Team SmackDown? Okay, so when they did the whole draft, we had the second brand extension, the second draft, whatever the hell it's called. Cena gets drafted to SmackDown. Then he's a free agent. He comes to Raw. He's feuding with Roman Reigns. That feud ends. Cena then suddenly ends up on Team SmackDown again. And then people are asking the question, well, how did this happen? So we figured, okay, so he's back on SmackDown. They changed their mind. Now he's back on Raw. And I don't know if this is just, a one-off thing because, hey, it's Christmas and, it's not complete with good old John, big match John. So they wheeled John out there, and this segment is embarrassing for somebody the caliber of Cena. And you could tell that this was heavily scripted. This was not a normal Cena program that we've been getting for the past couple of years. A Cena promo, I mean. Elias comes out. He interrupts John. He puts like his finger to John's lips, and John kind of just steps to the side. And something, okay, yes, it's fake, it's entertainment, but the level of realism there, you put your finger on the lips of John Cena, a guy that looks like John, a guy who could lift the amount of weight that John could lift, and you have Elias Sampson shushing him, like literally putting his finger to his mouth, and he's letting him play a song. He's criticizing John, and then he nails him with a punch when he's not looking, and then we have a match, and John just pretty much gives him the attitude adjustment, and there's your match. Not a lot happened, but what are they doing with Elias after that big intercontinental title match with Roman? The guy proved himself, took Roman to the limit. Great match. It looked like they were going places. Okay, so we're down one guy. We don't have one of our, top guys, The Miz. So we're gonna slide Elias into that position. I was all for that. I said, let's go for it. I don't understand why the Mr Raj is siding with him, but that was 1 week, and then all of a sudden they just cut it out just like that, like it was some type of weird experiment, and we never hear from that Mr Raj, Elias, little faction anymore. That just was forgotten about the very next week. Then he gets pulverized by Kane. And here we have just, a random segment mishmashing with John. And why would John Cena, of all guys, the top guy, tolerate somebody imposing in on his segment and then getting floored? Cena looked like a damn goof in this segment. I really felt sorry. For all you people that like to bash and say that Cena buries people, to me, right here in the opening segment, this got nobody over. This didn't get Elias over. It didn't get John over. It got nobody over. Everybody looked like a damn goof involved. And the match was, a big nothing. It was very by the numbers, and it didn't feel like they were going anywhere. Elias should be catapulted to the top. There's not a lot going on, not a lot of excitement on this show, on any of the shows for that matter. So why not get a guy like Elias, who at least has a look to him? He's got the physique. He's got the ability to talk. He's got the ability in the ring. There's really nothing that this guy is missing. He looks like he is a high-level, high-card caliber talent. And somehow, some way, he's stuck week after week with these meaningless segments. But spent enough time on this. Backstage, Kurt Angle makes a match. It's Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan. So it's very sudden that they're just teaming these two together. So I think Dean Ambrose is injured in reality, or kayfabe. I don't even know. I don't want to say that I don't care, because that would sound cold. But at this point, I don't know. It's such a mishmash. We're not even explaining things. So Jason Jordan says here in this little segment, he goes, "So, Dad, you're putting me back in a tag team after I was just in the tag team on SmackDown, and you're gonna work on my singles run and then put me in a tag team again." When they're actually admitting how stupid the continuity is and how retarded this all sounds, when you really lay it all out like Jason Jordan did, he just exposed the show right there. And that's not his fault. That's the writer's fault for telling him to say that. But exactly, you took the guy out of SmackDown. You made a similar tag team on SmackDown to replace Jason Jordan. That's why we have American Alpha 2.0 with Shelton Benjamin. The whole reason to get Jason Jordan on Raw is so we could say Kurt Angle was his father, and we could get him to become some sort of top tier main eventer. It was a total bust, really, to say the least. The guy is trying all he can to get over. Week after week, I see Jason Jordan improving. People are going to disagree, but, that's my opinion. But the simple fact of the matter is, he's admitting in the promo just how shitty the writing is. You wanted to make this guy a single star. Make him a single star. You put him right back in the tag team. And this is what happened to the Shield reunion, huh? Remember, Roman Reigns is nowhere to be found around Seth Rollins. Even if Dean Ambrose is injured, why is he not at least there? We're not getting this explanation. And they're already going for the tag titles. I mean, talk about pulling. It's funny. They won't pull the trigger on the good things, but they'll pull the trigger on all the bad things and all the random things. I mean, it's too much to make Braun Strowman the champion, so we got to beat him. But we'll go ahead and just form this random tag team and give them the belts right off the bat. Now, given it's not the main title, but it really shows just how compulsive the writers are and how McMahon is. Like, they'll just make a change just like that, even if it's just a change just to make a change that no one's even asking for. Who asked for Jordan and Rollins? And I'm not saying listen to these smarks in the YWC, but why are they a team? Okay, we get a little explanation. Samoa Joe is surrounded by Cesaro and Sheamus. Okay, but Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins have been wrestling these two guys for like nearly 6 months already since SummerSlam. So it's almost half a year already. 5 months, 4 months, whatever. You get the picture. They've been in a rivalry for way too long, and it is tiresome. They are never going to stop this because, once they do stop it, it's just one guy down and replace him. So it's still Seth Rollins and a partner versus the same old tag team. And when's it going to end? I hope now that they won, but then there's going to be rematches. My God. Hideo Idiocracy defeated the Brian Kendrick. Okay, so here we go with this, Hideo Itami, Kenta. He's Kenta's here. Everyone, and last week I made a mistake. I made a video about, Hideo Idiocracy when he was Kenta. I said he was in New Japan when in fact he was in the Noah promotion. Apparently he took a big boat filled with animals and, he lasted in the flood long enough to win the world title over there. I don't know what these people are talking about. Talking about Noah, talking about biblical figures. What, huh? All Japan. So it's not New Japan. It's all Japan. So New Japan ain't all Japan. It's just some Japan. So what if we call New Japan some Japan? And All Japan, I guess, could stay All Japan because I thought New Japan was bigger than All Japan, but that's all of Japan. So there you go. That's all you need to know right there. You're all hey, right here. You watch this video. If you didn't know anything about Japanese wrestling, your good old YWC champ just explained it to you right there. No questions asked. No need to make comments about this particular portion of the video. You've already learned everything you can about that great part of the world, the Far East. Just keep it far away. It's not further east enough. So he hits the go to sleep. He hits the CM Punk, and that's it for that. Absolution defeated Micky, Bailey, and Sasha. Okay, so what was it like? What did Absolution lose last week or something? I don't even remember. They won last week. Doesn't matter to me. I'm already getting tired of this. They're not moving forward with anything. We're just gonna have 6-man tags to the end of time. It's the same match from last week, people. The same exact thing. And I would say, oh, it's the Christmas episode, but this ain't like your normal regular. It's a throwaway show in my opinion, but stuff happened on this show. We had new tag champs. You putting Cena on there, who hasn't been there in like 2 months. So I can't just say that this is just some throwaway show that they don't care about. No, they made the wrestlers work this day to put on a brand new show. So the least they could do is maybe have something different. You have to torment us with the same match from last week. Kane defeated Slater. There was an interesting part at the end with Rhino. It looked like he was going to get the best of Kane, but Then he just choke slams him. So, here's the thing. So last week we had something interesting going on. Kurt Angle said they got to get their killer instinct back. They got to start winning matches or they won't get any more opportunities. So here's a chance right here. Let's listen. There's always opportunities to have new storylines and grow new characters. And new characters. Heath Slater's been there since 2011. New characters. 2010, I guess. So anyway, the point is, it's been there for a long time, 7, 8 years. We're gonna get Killer Instinct now, finally. I've been asking for Slater to, get some sort of recognition for all the stuff he did. Remember in 2012, I know I'm going back a while, he worked with those legends. They put him in the ring with Psycho Sid. They put him in the ring with Vader. He jobbed out for all those guys. He made them look good. So I said, maybe we should reward Slater. What was his reward? 3MB or punishment? I'm still confused on that. Was that a push or a punishment of some sort? I guess it could have been a little bit of both. So, instead, they're not focusing on their killer instinct at all. They're not following up on this storyline unless that little pep talk that Rhino had with Slater at ringside where he says, go ahead, go get him. Was that supposed to be a continuation of that? If that is, that's pretty pathetic. I mean, that's not how you tell a story, something off mic, a little something for 2 seconds. So you could have had something compelling. They could have done something funny, like had Rhino and Slater maybe working out in the gym. Maybe they're at the training center, doing stuff. They could have had some, goofy, funny segments. I mean, these guys proved they could be an effective comedy team. And they still had them winning the tag belts, and they still seemed effective. So why not go back to that? Why not try to at least reclaim some of that former glory? Instead just, make an obvious match. Oh, I wonder who's going to win, Kane or Slater, and then you do a little something at the end to maybe spark a bit of interest, and then it just goes the normal way. So I'm not really getting why they even bothered last week. Just like I always say every week, start off good with something to maybe kind of just make a little bit of an interesting, intriguing little storyline, and then they just kill it just like that. Then you had Kurt Hawkins cutting a promo in ring. Here we go again with more of the randomness of the lack of continuity. So where has Hawkins been? I see the guy online is like they're letting him wrestle at indie shows. The fact that they're letting Hawkins actually do that doesn't really say a lot of good positive things about him, because they usually don't let people do that. The fact that they're doing it's like they don't even know he's on the roster. And I don't know what it is. I always ask this: why did they make vignettes for this guy? They don't do vignettes for anybody. Okay, so we had the Bludgeon Brothers, Kurt Hawkins, Asuka, and that was about it. And I remember they really took their time. It was like with Darren Young, they crafted some one-liners for him. They put some presentation into it. They took time to at least make Hawkins seem like his return was going to mean something. And then when he debuted, he lost his debut match. There was it was very confusing. Like, they did that to troll people. It's like, what are we supposed to find that funny? Like, what did anybody gain out of this? It hurt the credibility of the man. It wasted everybody's time. You spent like 2 months building this guy up in vignettes just to bring him out and beat him like a piece of garbage. I'll never understand the logic of that. How can you make a guy, like seem like he's going to be something, but because no one else gets vignettes, right? Not Samoa Joe didn't get vignettes. Finn Balor didn't get vignettes, but Kurt Hawkins did. So pretty much you could kind of see all the people who have gotten vignettes. they're not really doing a whole lot with them. What is Asuka doing? Well, we'll get to her in a minute. So we do Bray Wyatt next. He comes out. He gets attacked by Matt Hardy. So Matt Hardy then just gets on the mic and just starts laughing continuously. Here's the thing right here. Is Matt in control of this character 100%? Are we really sure about that? Because why are we getting so many repeats of Matt just constantly laughing? There was no promo. There was no challenge to a match. There was nothing, original here. This is broken Matt. We've waited for this for a while. He's not doing anything weird beyond the weird laugh. We could have got a different vignette for him. He could have did something strange or peculiar, something out of the ordinary, but we just got a typical run-in from the guy. So, I'm left standing here kind of saying to myself, why exactly did they do this? They're making this guy play chess with a goldfish last week, and then this week he's just doing a normal run-in. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but the character, where is the character this week outside of the maniacal laughing? So that was a disappointment, because I like Matt Hardy and I like the direction of his character, somewhat during these vignettes. But see, this is what I'm saying. I made the video. Go back and watch it about a month ago already. I says, will broken Matt Hardy suck? And that looks like that video might get an answer pretty sooner than later. Then we had the Miracle on 34th Street fight. It was Cedric Alexander and, some other jobbers against Enzo. Gulak was in there. And this was really just a lazy comedy match. We just had a match like this on, what was this, last week on Raw? Or something like that. Rhino was dressed up. Or am I thinking about Halloween? I don't even remember where we had Rhino and Slater dressed up like a bunch of goofballs. I believe that might have actually been last week. I don't even know all the crappy wrestling, the crappy Raws and the crappy SmackDowns and the crappy pay-per-views. They all seem to kind of just blend together into one big crap fest. So I'm not really too sure when that was, but already we're having, and then you had New Day against Rusev and the singing guy, whatever his name is, I forget, but it's the same thing. Dress the wrestlers up. One of them's where they weren't really dressed up, but I think, what was it? Enzo was wearing an outfit, dressing up as Santa. Okay, I mean, I guess that might fall in a little bit with his character. He's a bit over the top, but once again, we are failing here with Enzo big time. Okay, so the Enzo's team loses the match. Alexander hits the backbreaker on whoever. I don't even care. So okay, so we get the result to the match. Backstage, we've got Enzo and we've got Nia Jax, and they teased them kissing under the mistletoe. But then it's Alexa Bliss interfering. She comes between him, and then Nia just walks away. And, this is just getting tiresome. I want to praise this. I want to say that I like it, the way how Nia Jax is giving the googly eyes to Enzo. And it's a funny, odd pairing that could work. But week after week, this has now been going on for a month, and we've gotten nowhere with the storyline. Does anybody realize that? The storyline with her giving the googly eyes to Enzo has been going on for a month. And we get, like, a 1 to 2 minute segment backstage, and then that's it with no follow-up. At least if they had the two of them kiss, you could at least say there was some progression. But this is what they do. They're like, okay, we're just going to do a little something here, and then that's it for these characters for that week. Did they not realize that Enzo is like the best character on the show? As far as personality, I'm not saying the most over, because I know a lot of you people hate him. But, that say that honor goes to Braun. I've already said that. But as far as who's got the best personality and character, I wholeheartedly give it to Enzo. It is a shame that, Enzo, because of his stature, he'll never be like a main eventer. But my God, the guy entertains me from week to week. You know what I'm saying? From his facial expressions to everything about him. But, this is just lazy booking. If you're going to book a romance angle, you can't just do the same thing week after week and you just have no progression. So basically, next week, I guarantee you we can make a bet right here in the YWC. Deal me in. I'm gonna put one of those dealer visors on. Yeah, full house. Deal me in there, pal. Let's make a bet here in the YWC. And the fish. This is the YWC casino right now. Who wants to bet that they do the same exact thing on next week's episode of Raw? Happy New Year, the same exact thing. And that's going to be the New Year's resolution for WWE. Let's do the same shit we did in 2017. Except this time we're going to have some crappy Facebook garbage show to add on to our list of already crappy garbage shows that we already have on TV and on the network. So I guess WWE's journey is to not only just have shows on normal broadcast television and on the network, but also have, shitty shows also on Facebook. So we'll have shitty shows in every medium. What an accomplishment. What a revolutionary company. It's the company of tomorrow, right? I mean, they're doing great. They're making money. That's all people. Oh, their profits are up. Yeah, okay. So why are the ratings down? I'm not going to go into this right now. Samoa Joe defeated Reigns by disqualification. Reigns just pounded on him after the match. Was kind of expecting a little bit more. Samoa Joe adds nothing. I mean, I'm not saying Roman Reigns looked like $1 million here either, but everybody likes to say how great Joe is on the show, and I'm watching this fat slob week after week, and the guy just looks worse and worse every week. I mean, every single week, he looks like he's eating 6 pounds of marshmallows before he goes out there. The guy gets flabbier and flabbier every week. Sloppy Joe. I mean, I'm sick of calling this guy the fat bastard, fat boy Joe. Let's just call him Sloppy Joe. The guy looks like a train wreck. I mean, seriously, every single time he comes out there, he's got the Jabba the Hutt look. I mean, God, the Blob. Seriously, he looks like the Blob, that old movie from the 50s. I mean, this guy just coming down to the ring reminds me a lot of the slow walk and everything. It's like if you had the Blob and put a towel around him, that would be Samoa Joe. Sloppy Blob Joe. And the YWC praises this guy for whatever reason. And can I get an answer here for the last time? What is so great about Joe? He's been cutting the same freaking retarded promo for 15 years already in TNA. I'm going to kill you, looking straight at the camera. Okay, so that's an art right there that's kind of lost. Many wrestlers like Finn Balor are looking down at the floor, so I'll give that to Joe. Joe looks right at the camera. He'll maybe sometimes look at the hard camera, but I don't see him as a tough guy. The guy bores me to death. I mean, this is like a guy that he could threaten you in the street and you'd probably fall asleep like you had narcolepsy. I mean, he's really that boring. I have never been a Joe fan. I mean, go back even to my TNA reviews, and I'm always giving this guy a hard time because he just won't change. And it's not even like he's that over. Like I'm saying, people say, oh, Randy Orton should change. And I've said a fair deal about Randy Orton in the past, but, I realized at one point that Orton is over. He's a star. And I kind of said, you know what? I was giving this guy a hard time for no reason when he looks like $1 million. And I started to kind of cozy up to Orton, as people have noticed the past couple of years, because I've seen that, Orton might not be my absolute favorite, but, compare him to some of these guys like Sami Zayn and Fuckboy and, and Sloppy Joe. I mean, the guy is virtually Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan or Macho Man in comparison. I mean, they're really that bad and uninteresting. I mean, I get nothing from watching a Samoa Joe match. I get nothing out of watching a Samoa Joe promo. But apparently many do get a lot out of it. They get a lot of enjoyment out of this guy, and if that's the case, more power to you. Enjoy your fat boy Samoa Joe, and enjoy this guy gaining 30 pounds every single week. I mean, the guy sooner or later is not going to be able to fit through the entranceway. I mean, that's how bad it's getting. No, something. It's like I feel like catering there probably was enough for the wrestlers back in the Attitude Era, but I take a look at guys like Samoa Joe, and I don't think there's anything left in catering. They probably had to take more orders, for catering every single time Samoa Joe's in the building. The Raw brand wrestlers probably are starving. If they don't order enough food, Samoa Joe's gonna come along, especially before he goes out there, coming out all bloated and shit. Come on, like it's ridiculous. A wrestler looking like this already in 2018. Soon to be 2018 for all the smart Alex out there. It's not 2018 yet. Someone's gonna put that in the comments. You get the point. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how come in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, early was we had these guys, you weren't allowed in unless you looked like $1 million, and if you were allowed in, you wouldn't be making it that far up the card. Nowadays, you actually get rewarded for looking like a piece of garbage. Braun Strowman destroyed the Mr Raj. They were singing carols backstage. They made fun of Goldust. They handed Goldust the DVD of Santa's Little Helper. Oh, God, what? It's like none of it was funny. It was stupid. Braun. So this is what you do with Braun. So this has been quite a week for Braun Strowman. I'll say that. They dress him up horrifically as an elf. Go watch my video with my reaction to that. They had a video on YouTube, that Braun Strowman in The Elf Among Men, which was a terrible parody of the Will Ferrell Elf movie. And instead of picking somebody who they usually make a goof out of, like Kurt Hawkins or Heath Slater or one of these other jobbers, they picked their most over guy, the guy who's going to be in the Universal, Championship match at Royal Rumble. They picked that guy, that Braun Strowman, to dress up as an elf. And so, they give him that to do. And, you're just having a normal squash match. No interaction with Kane, no interaction with Brock. We're going to have the wrestlers wrestle on Christmas. But we're not going to at least get Brock Lesnar in there. It's a Christmas show. It's so important that we're going to make everybody work. But Brock Lesnar gets to sit at home, because he's the special one. Alexa Bliss cut a promo in the ring. They finally remembered that she's the champion. All this talk about, Royal Rumble for the women. And you guys know how I feel about that already. Not a big fan. But, Alexa says, you could thank me for the Royal Rumble. A disappointing promo, to say the least. I mean, it's like they make these big announcements that we're supposed to be excited for. And maybe we would if we're, like, given the reason to. But then it feels like the very next week, they just suck all the life and energy right out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this promo, it's like Bliss just seemed bored here. And here I am praising her. I put her on my top 10 women of all time. It's not her fault. If anybody gives an effort, it's Alexa. I mean, the thing is, they forgot about this girl for like a whole month. She has a freaking belt, and they can't even put her on TV. They don't let the girl get in the ring like this to cut her. I've been saying this for weeks. I'm like, okay, Alexa, where's Alexa? They're doing all these things with Absolution, but none of them are the champion. And they want to make now like, and I see what they're doing. They want to make like the women are on par with the men by giving them their own Royal Rumble, like this is their world title. And the fact of the matter is, no one is ever going to take the women's wrestling as seriously as the men's wrestling, no matter how much we, try to make it so even Stevens, because the way you elevate them, or promote them rather, or both, it is so manufactured feeling. Every single week it's a 6-man tag. Every single week we have multiple girls cutting promos. Everybody's tripping over each other's words, trying to get themselves over as best they can. We see on SmackDown, everyone's got to stand in a big kumbaya circle and try to get themselves over the same way as it is on Raw. I got to get myself over, but I only have 20 seconds to speak. I mean, what are these girls supposed to do besides saying something outrageous? Maybe that'd get them over. I don't know. Just start singing Yankee Doodle Dandy or some shit. How are you supposed to get yourself over in a 20-second promo? So anyway, Asuka comes out. So the female Nakamurphy comes out, and it's like the same exact approach. This is why I call the female Nakamurphy. People look at racist because he's comparing two Japanese wrestlers. So apparently, if I watch New Japan or Noah or whatever the hell it is this week, All Japan, some Japan, I don't know, a dash of Japan, whatever promotion I'll be watching. If I make a comment about one of those wrestlers, will I be perceived as racist because I'm talking about someone who's of a different race than my own? I mean, the logic here. Anyway, it's like the same style of promo. One word, a couple of words. You're not ready for Asuka. She does this ridiculous over-the-top voice. Oh, but Brad, you want characters over the... I mean, yeah, but let's not act like we're a space alien or some fucking, inhuman beast. Like, when we talk. I mean, maybe that's okay for Braun Strowman, but, Asuka, this little tiny Japanese girl, I'm sorry. I'm not scared of the pink-haired, anime-looking character here. I was going to say I was playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and the Grand Kai of Time, she looks exactly like Asuka. So there you go. You have her looking like a damn Dragon Ball character. And that character on Xenoverse is like a foot tall. I'm not. So forgive me if I don't take the female Nakamurphy seriously, because I'm comparing her to a damn Dragon Ball character. So, once you get the comparison to a Dragon Ball character, you've pretty much lost all the respect. You've lost all my admiration. You've lost any hope that I'm ever going to take you seriously as a top talent. So, that's just me being honest here. That's just me shooting, okay, she's talented. I will admit she has a look to her, that maybe in Japan it might be even more over there. And I know that it is. There, the YWC, there's even a few casuals I've heard that kind of like Asuka for whatever reason. I don't really know what the appeal is. She doesn't know how to sell. She doesn't know how to speak English. I just don't see why we're spending so much time on her. And she's not even really that over. The first night she came out, I'll never forget that nerdy bald guy doing the ridiculous Asuka dance. That will stay fresh in my mind for her entire career. But she looks like the damn Grand Kai of Time. I mean, let's just be honest here. She looks like an anime character. And that's not supposed to be because she looks like, because it's created by the Japanese. She looks like the character. What do you want me to say? Am I supposed to lie and say she looks like Bugs Bunny? I mean, come on. So then we get our main event, and we get our new tag champs crown. And I don't understand this, because as Jason Jordan stated earlier in the night, they took him out of a tag team to put him in another tag team. And that to me makes absolutely no sense at all. You're going to take the guy out of a team, try to push him as a single star, and then put him in the same team. And for God's sake, Seth Rollins facing Sheamus and Cesaro for the 1,000th time. How many more times are we going to see this match? It goes on and on and on. It's a long match, and we've already seen it 30 times. I mean, realistically, hasn't it been like 30 times already? If you count all the singles matches they've had, with Seth Rollins versus Sheamus, Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus, Dean Ambrose versus Cesaro. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And now what we're doing is just swapping out Dean Ambrose for Jason Jordan. And now Jason Jordan's career, he was trying to get himself over. Now we're just going to throw him in a tag team. So two guys that they tried getting over in singles competition. One of them has been a multi-time world champion, by the way, in Seth Rollins. They've completely failed with these guys, so they got to keep giving them multiple tag title runs. And you just had Sheamus and Cesaro winning these tag titles just mere weeks ago. And now you're already putting it back on basically a Shield 2.3. What version of this is even of the Shield? I don't even know what happened to the Shield reunion. They got bored with that already? I mean, what is this company doing even? Making wrestlers work on Christmas, random tag champions that nobody really wants to see, or we shouldn't even be seeing this. I mean, if you can't figure out what to do with Jason Jordan, why is he even there? Why did you put the guy on Raw? Why did you put him on SmackDown if you don't know how to book this guy? Why are half these talents here? Okay, then if you can't figure out what to do with these guys, then get other guys and do something with them. Have the writers do. Okay, so what wrestlers do you know how to write for? If you don't know how to write for this specific set of wrestlers, then maybe it's time to get some new talent. And I've been saying that for a while. I mean, the thing is, there are a lot of good talent here. Don't get me wrong. You've got some talented guys on there. I'm not saying that a guy like Seth Rollins isn't talented. He might have an extra whiny voice, and he might not have the look of a top champ. But, you've got guys on this roster, Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy, Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar when he feels like showing up. I mean, you've got guys here that are very talented. It's how you're booking them. But the thing is, it's like, if you can't even figure out how to write for a guy like Jason Jordan, who is, really trying and really is doing everything that's asked of him, then you have no right to write for this company at all. I mean, I know this has been going on for years, but I'm just saying it is just so pathetic that you see these wrestlers trying so hard to break that glass ceiling and try to get to that next level. And it's just roadblock after roadblock. And the sad thing is, this is the main event of the show. So Jason Jordan's in the main event, but he doesn't feel like a main eventer, which is sad. I mean, it's like the tag belts being in the main event. That even says something about the show. This guy is being totally wasted, going around in circles. And exactly, if Kurt Angle is his dad, why the hell would he just give him a tag title opportunity? Shouldn't he want his son to build himself up towards a world title? And this guy is actually saying it in the storyline, saying, why is my career being put on hold? Like I've said time and time again, when they've actually written how pathetic somebody is into the storyline, like the Dolph Ziggler thing, that is when you know that you need to change your storylines and your creative direction. Anyway, motherfuckers, this has been a really long video. I went on a lot longer than I thought I was on this show. It really started off with not a lot to say, but then when I turned the camera on, it was like Rand City. I mean, it's just so much shit on this show just annoys me when I watch it, because it's like I see a lot of like talented guys just their time is being wasted, and you made them work on Christmas. You made the motherfuckers work on Christmas. You know, a time for family, a time for joy, a time when people should be relaxing and really, taking in life, and it should be a positive experience. You're gonna make them work. And not only that, but you're going to make them work a shitty show. And you made half your wrestlers look like damn fucking goofs on it. I mean, seriously. I mean, this is what you got everybody away for their family to do, to put on this pathetic show. McMahon should be ashamed of himself. The creative team should hang their heads in shame. For God's sakes. I mean, anyway, motherfuckers, I hope you all had a good Christmas. It's your YWC champ, signing out.